There's new polling that finds President Joe Biden leading Donald Trump in a hypothetical general election matchup. In the brand new Quinnipiac University survey, Biden holds a 4-point advantage over Trump. It's 49% to 45% among registered voters nationwide. Now, that is within the poll's margin of error and essentially unchanged from a survey taken last month. But when third-party candidates are included on the ballot, the poll shows that Biden's lead decreases to just a single point, 38 to 37. They have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 15. Those numbers are consistent with other recent polls, which have shown an extremely close race. Some have Trump up slightly, some have Biden up slightly, almost all within the margin of error. Joining us now, politics reporter for Semaphore, Dave Weigel. So, Dave, let's start with the polling here. I feel like when Trump has a lead in a poll, big headlines.
Yes.
When Biden has a lead in the poll, a little bit less. But we wanted to make sure we underscore that he is up in this one, though, of course, it's very close. Are this far out, mid to late February, do these general election polls tell us much of anything other than, hey, it's going to be close?
Yeah, they tell us what problems he needs to fix. And one that has shown up in states, especially in Michigan and the Midwest, is he's losing a chunk of the left that voted for him in 2020 because, not of Ukraine, because of Gaza. And that is why you see it in any poll that tests Kennedy, it tests Cornel West, tests Jill Stein. They're doing quite well right now because of a lot of Democratic attrition in his vote. The economy is improving. Biden's actually, if you look at Quinnipiac, too, people are saying less and less that the economy is their top worry, that the country is on the wrong path. They are worried about individual Biden policies that it is hard for him to win the election without fixing.
So, big picture, I know some Democrat strategists are certainly worried about the third-party candidate possibility.
Right.
But they believe at the end of the day, come November, that there will be Democrats who realize, hey, if I vote for a third-party candidate, that's going to put Donald Trump back in office. But what kind of messaging can Democrats have? Is that going to be effective just to say, look, the fear factor, if you will?
It might be. I think it's depending on the reality on the ground. And I've talked to people running the Listen to Michigan campaign that's getting momentum ahead of the Tuesday primary. What they want is a beachhead, the biggest vote for uncommitted possible to show that Biden needs to change course. But you talk to some of the people voting for that, and they say, some say, yes, we want to send a message and Biden could win us back. Some say we're done. We're gonna stay on the sidelines. Those voters, I think those voters are harder for the White House to grab back than maybe the people who just look at the president, look at his age, and have not fully processed the choice with Trump yet.
Yeah, some of the Biden aides have confided to me that they feel like some of those voters in Michigan might be gone.
Yes.
And then they're going to have to find other paths to victory, which would include winning back some of those white working class voters who have gone for Trump other last couple of elections. So let's turn to the GOP primary. South Carolina is Saturday. You just got back from several days in South Carolina. Tell us, what are you seeing there on the ground?
It is a really frozen race. Nikki Haley's had a month to compete in her home state since New Hampshire. She did not get the bounce she wanted, but she did get basically the run of the place. She's been campaigning across the state in a bus and not building momentum. You talk to her, the voters showing up for her. There are hundreds at each event. Some of them are Democrats who are going to vote for her as a protest vote, but they are not MAGA voters. I mean, one thing you notice when she makes jokes about Donald Trump, or she says, if you donate to me, you're banned permanently from MAGA, your people say, hooray, or they're sarcastically say, oh, no. Those are not the average Republican voter. So it looks like a pretty frozen race with a Trump advantage. I think that's why she spent this time on Tuesday spinning a potential loss in her home state as a reason to keep going.
Yeah, polls have shown she's chipped into Trump's lead a little, but like going from 30 points down to 20. I mean, she's still almost certainly going to lose decisively.
In a nearly winner-take-all state.
Right.
She might end up with no delegates on Saturday and then say, I still need to keep going.
So if that happens, if she does take a blowout loss in her home state, I mean, what's the rationale for going forward?
She laid it out on Tuesday that she just needs to be the alternative for voters who do not want a Trump-Biden rematch for whatever reason. And when that gets to policy, sometimes the reason gets a little bit less clear. I mean, you saw it this week in her answer on IVF to Ali Fatali. She is positioning herself as kind of all things to all people, but then you try to pin her down on a specific issue. She has a conservative position that makes it harder for those resistance voters, maybe the Democrats who donated to Liz Cheney's re-election campaign. They're kind of blanching. I found that in South Carolina, too. I did find Democrats who say, yes, the facts presented before me say that she is the protest vote to slow Trump down, but I can't pull myself over the line. I mean, she had a couple protests at events from union workers who still have issues with how how she governed the state, how she was a self-proclaimed union buster. It's really tough for her to be the unity, everyone who doesn't like Trump and everyone who doesn't like Biden candidate.
And Michigan's on the horizon for the Republicans as well. I haven't seen much in the way of polling out of that state. What are you hearing just from Republicans as to what they think Trump-Haley might look like there?
That Trump still has the advantage. It is an open primary, so independents, again, could vote for Haley. I think this IVF answer, this really is going to have a splashback on the primary and an effect on that race. But also, most delegates are going to be assigned at a party convention. And because of that, because of who's been showing up for Michigan party conventions, kind of both because of the party's internal dissension and its split, those are very conservative, very pro-MAGA activists. So she's going to campaign a little bit in Michigan, but she's going to focus on Super Tuesday states, even in the 72 hours she gets before that primary.
Yeah, she's going to need to. She has said that she's in the race through at least Super Tuesday. We'll see after that. Really good stuff this morning from politics reporter for 7-4, Dave Weigel. Dave, thank you for being with us.